Hello everyone, Shaldevan here with 100% complete walkthrough guide of Bramble the Mountain King. And before we go any further, please do read these warnings because there is depiction of violence, blood, gore, among many other topics that many people might find disturbing. So consider yourself warned before I actually move on. And I'm going to start a new game and we are going inside the world of Bramble.
A nightmare woke him up. Frightened by his mother's bedtime story, he searched for his sister's comfort. But she was nowhere to be found.
And we are going to start interacting with everything that is interactable in this first room. Only after interacting with everything you will get the interactable option at the window to move the story further. And you will also find your first storybook in this very room. There are total 7 storybooks, and of course reading those storybooks will eventually unlock an achievement. So this game is developed by Dimfrost Studios and published by Merge Games. And we are playing as a young boy named Ole in this game.
There once was a girl who snuck out of her bedroom window at night, even though her mother had told her not to. She went into the forest, and at first it welcomed her with warmth and a promise of adventures. But soon, the forest seemed to grow colder and darker. The girl was afraid, and she wanted to go home. But bramble crawled around her arms and legs, and she could not get away. And the girl was never seen again.
And that was your first storybook.
That is what happens when you do not listen to your mother. Especially you, Lilymoor, their mother had said before kissing them goodnight. The darkness outside scared him. But not being with his sister scared him even more.
Alright, so we are outside the window and into the very dark world. And this is a very grim story of an adventure.
The nearby forest was a familiar place.
And
during
while we
the
are
day.
moving ahead, I should mention there is an achievement called Survivor that requires to complete the game without dying.
It was
So
a
you can do
different
this in your first playthrough if you are really careful. Or if you want, you can do this in your second
There was no
playthrough.
trace of Lilymoor, and Ulle wished he could ask the pine cones if they had seen her.
But let me tell you that dying in this game is really easy. So what I recommend is to manually copy your save files
But if the
so that
Pinecones
if you
knew
die,
about her
you can
fate,
just paste the folder
they
again,
kept it to
the save folder,
themselves.
the save files, and continue to try again. I know that It seems like a frustrating process, but believe me, it saves time. And we are going to unlock our first achievement very soon. You see these sticks that makes a goalpost? We need to move an apple inside those sticks to make a goal, and that will unlock an achievement. It might take time. You might actually get it in first try. And yeah, you can't actually kick. You can only give direction by running. So take your time to get this achievement. This is kind of missable, but you can actually chapter select. So keep trying until the achievement notification shows up. And there you go, the achievement unlocked. So right after this, climb the ladder and you will find a statue inside this house on the table alongside with the key. So interacting with the statue unlocks another achievement. And inside the matchbox, you will find the key, drop it on the ground and open the door to move forward. So for the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you won't die. There is not a place where you can make some mistakes to die. So be free while exploring the starting. I will tell you when to make a save. When the going is going to be tough, I will tell you. So for now, just carry on happily because the starting is really nice, colorful and warm.
A light in the dark. A symbol of hope. A spark of courage.
So this is your sister Lenimore. And here we are going to learn how to aim and how to throw the rock.
What do you have there? Lilimur asked. It glimmers beautifully. What a strange rock. Light as a feather. She investigated closely. Let us play, little brother, Lilimur babbled. See if you can knock down this pine cone.
So aiming in this game is really graceful. All you need to do is point in a general vicinity of the thing you want to aim. And you will see the circle. That means you are going to stick the landing. So I believe till now we were actually pretty normal size human child or human children. But after this fall, I think the size changes. We become very tiny sized.
Together, they tumbled down deeper and deeper through the old ruin.
And we are going to get our third achievement here. We need to jump on the mushroom 5 times.
Follow me, little brother. I will protect you, Lilimur said. She was never scared like him. Ulle wished he could be a little more like his sister. Lilimur loved adventures, and Ulle loved Lilimur.
Alright, now we are in the world of gnomes and fairies and magic. And here we are going to learn the crouching mechanics. So crouch and go inside and track with the lever to free the gnome. Now this gnome will lead us into its village. I believe it's a village. Anyway, there are some houses there where other gnomes reside.
Gnomes are peculiar and playful creatures.
So first go on and interact with the bench. You will find
They live
another statue,
peacefully in
and interacting
daylight
with this
and
statue
keep in their houses
unlocks the
at night.
achievement.
Visitors that don't want to eat them were unheard of. Until this day.
Then interact with the door to try to open, but of course you need help. So this gnome baby will call out other gnome babies, and then you will have to play hide and seek. In simple terms, just look out for those pointy red hats to find these gnomes. Otherwise, this scenery is quite colorful. So now that you have extra hands, you can open the gate and move forward. And we are going to play round them up in this next section. So you need to round 4 babies into the pin. I don't know why, but we are going to do it. And after you complete this section, I recommend that you make your first manual save by copying the save files, because in the next section we are going to do some platforming over water and you can actually drown in the water. So keep that in mind before moving on. So continue to jump across these leaves and you will meet Frog King. I hope you made your manual save, because there are more jumping and more water section ahead. So yeah, here we are going to slide onto a trunk of the tree. A fallen trunk. Be careful because you can fall in the water here also.
They were both curious in different ways, while Lillemor quickly ran along. Ulle could get completely enthralled. And suddenly, Ole was alone again.
Alright, so the warm welcome of this game is over. Now we are going to meet a troll. And we are going to move into the dark territory here after these platforming. So this is a troll. And yeah, that happened. Don't worry, this is all cutscene. We don't have to actually run here.
The river was strong, and Ulle was weak. He did not stand a chance. But soon the sound of the river faded. Ole was happy to have firm ground under his feet again. Frog King made sure that his new friend did not drown. But without his sister, he felt like the loneliest child in the world. He just wanted to find Lillemor and go home. To do that, he had to find where the big troll had taken her.
carry on forward, and first thing we will do in the next section is to interact with the door. That will ensue a cutscene with a gnome. Then interact with the gnome to start the quest to fetch his toy to get the key from this gnome. Alright, there are some platforming section coming, so if you want to, you can save your files again to future proof it. Okay, now that you are on to this elk, I believe this is an elk, we are going to fight our first boss. So if you haven't copied your save files still, I'm recommending here to make a copy. However, we are not going to actually fight, but it's more like a staying alive with this boss. And this boss has only two moves. One where he will try to chop you up and the other move is he will pound the table with his fist. So for the chopping, just continue to move left and right. When he prepares his fist to slam the table, just jump. You don't want to be on the table at that time, because if you are, you will get stunned and you will die. And these droplets, when you drop down, just aim at its side, and you have to do this 3 times. That will open up the path ahead. And defeating this first boss or staying alive with this first boss will also unlock an achievement called Butcher. There you go. Path forward is open now and the achievement unlocked. But still be really careful because you can still die on these planks. Be really slow in this game. Don't try to force anything.
Olle wanted to cry. A couple of hours ago, he had been in his warm bed. Now, he had almost died several times. His sister was gone, and he was soaked in smelly sewer water.
And if you have survived this boss, make another save. Make another copy of the save file. In this section you have to rescue these 8 gnomes that are caged, as you can see. So just make your way on top of that platform and push that box to open the door of this cage. Then you will have the help of all 8 gnomes to open this door. And after this door, there are traps on the ground, and you want to make sure that all these 8 gnomes survives, because there is another achievement for that. So first thing first, make sure that all 8 of these gnomes are following you. Count them up. Otherwise, it is easy to miss 1 or 2 of these gnomes because they don't follow you. So stick to your left side and continue to move. Don't stop in the middle, because if you stop in the middle, one of these gnomes will definitely go into the trap. So don't stop, just stick to your left and continue forward. Keep going forward, there will be a cutscene and these gnomes will move into their house and the achievement will unlock. Yeah, so that happens. And the next section is kind of like a stealth section where you don't have to actually move into the light. So keep crouching and wait for the light to move on to your left so that you can move on to the right section. So wait for your window and move forward to crouch on the next grass. And again, don't force anything in this game. Just be patient and you will finish the game without dying, hopefully. Now this next section in the water, there are traps in the water that you can only see if the light shines on it. So you have to remember the location of these traps to move ahead without dying. Again, be very patient, be very careful. Remember the location of the trap and try to move ahead very precisely. Alright, there is just one more section with this troll and its light. Run forward underneath the shadow of this hand. You can crouch here and move forward to climb those vines. Notice the direction of the troll's head and a little bit of opening in between those rocks. When this troll is not watching the next opening, move forward. And yeah, you can actually make another copy of the save here. Because you can still die on these vines. And anytime you see the flower on the lower right corner, that means the game is saving. And you are free to quit out of the game and make your copy of the save. So while on this branch, you will fall. This is scripted, don't worry. And you will fall right on top of the Pine Cone King. And here is another missable achievement. You need to kick the remaining pine cone out of this cave. That is the requirement of this achievement. So yeah, keep kicking it forward and make sure this pine cone goes out of this cave when you drop down. Okay, there you go. And now in this section, don't stay in the liquid substance. I'm just going to call it water, whether it's water or not. So wait for things to move to the other side and then jump as far as you can to reach the next platform. And you see this cage here, you want to push it down. So the monster inside this water will be busy with the gnome inside this cage, and you can jump across this gap safely. And doing that will also unlock an achievement. And now make your way up and interact here to find another statue and another achievement, of course. And there you go. Now we are moving on. So we are moving on and we are going to get caught. Don't worry, he won't eat you right away. He will put you on the cage and we will escape that cage. So now that we are in the cage, just move left and right to make the cage fall and to get outside of this cage. And now that we are free, just continue on. We are going to use some stones on the pine cone to free our stone giant and make a friend here. These sticks that these pine cones are throwing at you, you will only die if you take enough of these sticks. So don't stay at one place.
Olle felt bad for the ill-treated giant. Lemus might be big, but he had a warm stone heart. All he longed for was a friend. His face scared away most. Even so, it seemed like he had found one.
Alright, now we are going to get our stone back, the glowing stone, and we are going to get caught by the troll. But again, don't worry, you won't die. This is all scripted, part of the story.
Ulle was comforted by the morning sun. He had survived the night, but just barely. At least he had found the stone again. And it felt like it was his sister's way of telling him he was on the right path.
And in this part, there is a beautiful melody in the background. And I have switched off the music because of the copyright problem. But you guys can enjoy it. It's a beautiful melody. So we are going to take a ride with this animal across the water. And there's another statue just when you reach a little bit of land near the stump of the tree. Get down from this animal and go on your ride to interact with another statue and get another achievement. Have I mentioned that there's another achievement for interacting with all the statues? Well, you don't want to miss it anywhere because now that you know, there are 2 achievements tied to every statues. And this is the statue of Naecken. We are actually going to meet with this creature very soon. So here you see me luring one of these babies with the flower. You need to push one of these babies just below the stone giant so that the flower will make him sneeze and that will wake him up. And he is going to give us another ride forward. And yeah, this time we are going to be the ride for this gnome. So just cross the water. This time you won't drown in the water because this is not that deep. And just after this water, you will find another statue and another achievement, of course. There you go. Now just carry on forward. This is a straight line. And yeah, just after the next cutscene, we are going to move into Naecken territory. So I recommend to make another copy of your save file right now. So I hope you have done the manual save because we are going into the dark area and there is many platforming to be done here. And you don't want to stay at any of these platforms longer than you have to because some of the platforms will break down. So very carefully continue on. Take your times with those jumps. We are going to drop this box here so that the next platform will act like a pendulum. And when it goes forward, that is the time for you to jump. And of course, you want to use the light from your stone also, because this is a dark area. Now this bit here, this platform is a little tricky because you have to balance here. If you go a little bit right, it will just drop down to the right. So you have to really balance. So stay here, keep balancing until that cage will drop down all the way and then jump. Now this one you have to actually go forward really slowly, and when you think the time is right, you have to make a jump. Don't go too fast with these platforms because it might propel you faster than you imagine, and you might actually just jump down to your death without even touching the next platform. So yeah, move forward very slowly, use your light and be patient. Always be patient in this game. And this darkness is just one of the section. Straight away after this, we are going to be chased by Naecken. So I hope you have made the manual save before this. Yeah, you can see that game tries to draw your attention to these drawings, but don't look at it. You want to keep your focus on these gaps because you can die, and dying is not optimal for that achievement. And now that we are out of this cave, we are going to the next section of this Naecken monster. Naecken is the name of the person who has actually turned into the monster. And as you can see, this section has us over the water. And you need to be fast this time because the Naecken will chase you. But of course, you still want to be careful with your movement. So be precise, be fast, and carry on. Okay, now we are in the third section of this neck and cheese. And this time we are going to hide behind the objects to be safe from this music wave. So very slowly move forward, hide behind the objects, and when the chance arrives, go forward. And now when you are at this tree, there will be some stones falling down. So make your way behind these stones to move forward. Again, wait for the stone to fall down to run behind it. I just took another second to breathe, you know. It is necessary that you breathe. And here there will be two stones, so wait for both of those stones to fall down before you move. Okay, almost over. Hide inside the scars to be safe from the Naecken and carry on forward. And we are in the dark again. Just ahead you will find another storybook, and this time the story is about the Naecken. So read on.
In his past life, Naecken was a simple man that loved playing his violin, but the village did not appreciate his talent. People would frequently bully him, and the only soul that did not was a girl that Naecken fell in love with. One day the bullying and beatings became so severe that Naecken's anger finally overtook him. He marched into the village, playing forbidden melodies that made everyone dance until their flesh and bone got worn down. They eventually died, leaving behind shuffling corpses, still trying to dance to Naecken's melodies. His love was not spared death either. Devastated, Naecken left the town and lived by the lake, drowning in his sorrow, where he still lures people with his deadly music.
Okay, now you know who the Naecken is. So we are going to continue forward, get out of this darkness. And here you want to be careful again, because you need to be very subtle with the direction you give in the water slide. You don't want to be very near to any stones. And just after the section ending, you will open another achievement. For now you are safe, just continue on through the story and I will tell you when to make another copy of the save file.
Closer and closer, darkness took hold of his heart and filled it with fear. Then there was a light. Tuva was a light in the darkness. She had filled his heart with courage, and the stone with her radiance. The bramble covers all where darkness has taken hold, Tuva said. Follow the light. You will find what you are searching for within the mountain.
Just carry on forward, and when you drop down, go to your left and you will find another statue. This time Tuva statue. And of course the achievement associated with it. Now carry on, and we are going to remove some brambles to make our way forward. And just after this cutscene, you want to make your manual save, because we are going to do some platforming while doing some stealth stuff. So yeah, there is a flower that will shine upon this world and you just want to hide from its light while jumping through these rooftops. This section is rather easy, but you still want to be safe, with the save file, because you can die anywhere. Sometimes I have found that the game does not register the jump properly or the objects beneath your feet properly. So we are going to climb this statue to go into another section of these rooftops.
The land was once a peaceful kingdom with a great king. Now, his image embodied the darkness that had drowned the world in Bramble.
And here you want to just run, because these brambles will come on these roofs to catch you. So just stick to the center. Stick to the left side here, because brambles will come from the right, and jump onto the lemmy sands. And we are done here.
Lemus would always look after his only friend.
Okay, carry on forward, and if you want to make your manual save, it is always good to make so many manual
Ole
saves.
felt a chill as he saw the warnings for desperate mothers carrying their infants. They pleaded with them not to carry out the unspeakable acts they had set their minds to.
And we are going to climb some vine here to push a log to make a path forward. Be careful while walking on this ledge, because you can just slip down and die. That is why, if you notice, I'm hugging to the wall here. Alright, now we are kinda at the middle section of this game. And if you haven't made the manual save, I highly recommend to do it here, because this is a long section with many platforming to be done, and there's a whole lot of water here. Be careful with this box. Take your time to jump. It is easy to miss. There another box coming little bit later in the section, and that time the camera angle is little bit skewed. Take your time in this section, but don't stay at any platform for too long other than this solid bridge, because those platforms will sink slowly, and before you notice it, you will drown. Okay, so we are going to free a boat here. Just remove this bramble vine and then rotate the lever, then climb on this net. I don't know, it might be fishing net, I don't know. I really don't know. Then on top you are going to remove another bramble vine. And now we are free to go forward. And this time we are going to the left and just continue forward down this house and you will find another statue. And of course the achievement. This is the statue of the next box that is coming up at the end of this section. And here we are going to do some witchcraft, and opening this door will also unlock an achievement. So interact with the door first and make a note of the symbol, because we are going to make a potion to match those symbols exactly. So just check on these wardrobes and cabinets to add the ingredient that matches your required shape for the potion, and we are going to do this 2 times. And on this table here you see this toy duck. This is a very important item, so interact with it and pick it up, because this item will be needed for achievement, and that achievement will happen in cutscene. So it is a must that you pick it up right now. And if you do a manual backup and reload here, then check that toy deck again and make sure that you have picked it up. Yeah, there you go. Achievement for opening this door, for doing some witchcraft. And on your right, you will see another storybook. So read it on.
If you find yourself in pain and sorrow, cry no more, they will be gone tomorrow. Listen to the voices of the deep, and join the wolves that circle round the sheep. A temporary sacrifice you make in order for your powers to awake. Trust in the transcendent and surrender to be received into the arts of splendor. Behold the transmutation into gold. Soon a god emerges from the mold. No longer human, brick to land alone. A god is reborn, seen
Pick this lever up and rotate it to lower down a ladder. And we are going to enter a cutscene, a little short cutscene. So the main door is locked. To get out of here, we are going to stack some tomes, some books, heavy books, to make our way out of that open window. And if you want to, you can make your manual save here because we are very close to another boss fight.
The witch was ahead of him. Ola knew he had to hurry before she could complete the ritual. If he did not catch up with the woman, the swamp would swallow another child. But he did not know that someone else wanted to hold him back. A midwife who wanted more dark souls to take care of.
Yeah, the platform here are submerged, so light your way forward. And this is the box that I was talking about before. Be careful here. And don't stop on these floating platforms, they will sink very slowly. Alright, now we are going to fight the boss. And headphones are recommended for this boss because you will hear the movement in the water first in this boss fight, and that is where you want to attack with your light. That is all you have to do in this boss fight. You have to do it 3 times though. And the window is really short, so you have to be ready. So hopefully you have defeated the boss without dying. And now we are going to move into the brambles. There is still a small section with platforming over the water and a chase section with brambles. So same as before, there is a monster inside this water. So make your way onto the next platforms. So wait there on the platform until the ripples are completely gone from this monster. So carefully make your way forward through this dangerous water. And here you are going to use your shining stone to open up a path to move through these shadows. And just across this water, there is a sad little cutscene. And if you have picked the toy deck before, at the end of the cutscene, you will unlock another achievement.
Ulle had been too late. At least he could give the child a proper burial, so that it would not become another dark soul.
Now slowly go forward and you will come across a safe location where you will find another storybook. Inside that place, you want to make your manual copy of the save file, because just after that we are going to fight another boss, probably the best boss in this game.
There was a light in the darkness. Guilt and sorrow weighed him down, but the warm glow felt comforting. Follow the light, Tuva had said, and he trusted her. The Lichtgübe was older than the mountain, almost as old as the world itself. He was the keeper of secrets, the gatherer of stories. Long ago, there was a peaceful kingdom that lacked an heir to the throne. King Niels and his queen Magdalena had waited for a long time, and at last she was expecting a child. She gave birth to the longed-for son, and they named him Ulrich. But suddenly, doctors crowded around the queen's bed. Magdalena succumbed to the labors of childbirth. The love of his life was gone. Weighed down by sorrow, King Niels approached his autumn. Meanwhile, Ulrich grew into a young boy full of life. The prince was the only thing that kept the darkness at bay in his heart. One day, Prince Ulrich fell ill. The doctors tried everything, but he grew weaker and weaker. They told King Niels about a mythical flower that witches were rumored to use to heal any illness. King Niels searched the whole kingdom for the flower to no avail, and his campaign soon became a gruesome witch hunt. His path was lined with the witches he had slain, but the flower was nowhere to be found.
Okay, now that we have some story in this game, we are going forward and straight up to the next boss fight.
Ulle wished he could stay in the warm light of the library. But he knew that he needed to reach the mountain and find Lillemor. Suddenly, he heard a familiar voice. "Follow me, little brother. I will protect you."
And there are going to be two achievements here with this boss fight. One for defeating it, and at the end of this boss fight, there is a section where you have to stab the boss. So the achievement requires you to stab 100 times. Yeah, I know it's going to take some time, but you are going to push the button 100 times. So we are going to fight this boss in 3 phases. In the first phase, there are 3 attacks. One is tidal wave type attack. You want to hide behind a tree. One is just a magic spike. You want to hide behind a tree. And for the third attack, there is a bubble and spikes coming just close to the trees. So you don't want to hide behind the trees. at that time. So while hiding, you want to hit these red shining bodies, and when you have shot all the bodies here, then you can take your shot at the boss to finish the first phase. By the way, you can make your manual save between the phases also, but I haven't done that, so I'm not sure if it works or not, but you can try if you want to. And now we are moving into second phase. In the second phase, there is a new attack. There will be some explosive red shining things. You want to stay away from those. But you also have to make sure that you are very close to the tree to hide behind, because sometimes the boss will send a spike to you, and this time the bodies are a little bit higher. You see these spikes, when they come out of the trees, they will make a bubbling sound. So that will be your cue to move from the trees. Okay, now we are done with the second phase. In the third phase, there is no trees to hide behind. So if you want to try your manual save, do try here. So in this phase, there will be those red explosive things as an attack, but this time there's also some lights shining down. You want to stay away from those. Otherwise, you want to move fast and hide those bodies down really fast. Because if you take your time in this phase, sometimes the boss does that tidal wave attack, and with nowhere to hide in this phase, you will absolutely die. And now that her heart is exposed, we can strike down. But don't forget to continue to push the button because you need to push the button 100 times here for the achievement. If you miss any time, the game will move on and you will miss your window to get the achievement. And I am just going to fast forward here until the achievement pops up.
Ola, what have you done? Tuva's voice called out to him.
And in this section, there is that melody song again, that beautiful melody song. But I have switched off the music again here for the copyright reason, of course. But you guys can enjoy while playing the game. So continue on forward. And we are going to a new type of enemy in this game. Everybody's favorite, the zombie type enemies. So for the most part, the next section is kind of plays out as a stealth section. Mostly you want to crouch down while in the vicinity of those zombies. Okay, we are going to move inside this house, and in here we will find another statue, the last boss statue, and of course the achievement. After the achievement, then interact with the lady in the chair to get a key for the door to move forward. And here are the zombies. So you want to crouch down and move very silently. But here you want to climb up so that these zombies will see you and they will come to you. But you are going to take this opportunity to run forward. And yeah, watch out for those birds. If you startle those birds, these zombies will come for you. So carry on forward very slowly. Go inside this house and you will find another storybook.
Once there was a peaceful village near a great forest. One night, people began to see a beautiful woman with long dark hair lurking in the shadows during the full moon. Men started to follow her into the forest. Some of them never returned, and those who did had lost their minds. Eventually, the villagers had enough. They took all the dark-haired women of a certain age and put them on trial for witchcraft. They started to execute them, hoping to find the right one. Yet men kept disappearing during full moon nights. The villagers grew more and more desperate and burned down a large area of the forest in the hope of finding this strange, beautiful woman, but to no avail. The villagers had lost themselves. They killed their own mothers and daughters. They burned down more of the forest that had served them with resources. Then one night, when the moon shone at its brightest, 5 brave men took matters into their own hands. They put on their coats and walked into the burnt forest to hunt for the woman with the dark hair. After a time, they saw the beautiful woman standing in a clearing. The men were instantly enchanted and followed her deep into the forest's heart. She was a shapeshifter that mimicked what men wanted to see in order to lure them away. When they were close enough to touch her, she transformed into something monstrous. She ripped their chests open, hung them up in the trees, and drew strange powers from their still beating hearts. And no one would ever see them again.
Go back out again through the same door that we came in, and we are moving forward. Very carefully crouch down, move through the tall grass. Don't go closer to those zombies or to those birds. Again, we are going to stand here so that these zombies will come to you, and you are going to take the opportunity here also to make a jump. Okay, so we are going to take a deep breath here. because this area is safe. So climb onto the net and climb onto this open window and immediately crouch down because there's zombie here. But he can't see you, so you can move while crouching down. Just don't stand up. Go behind it and climb up on that box to get out of here. So any zombies that you see inside a house, they will not be able to see you unless you go very close to it or directly in front of it. Aha, we are going to do another witchcraft here. So interact with the door again, memorize a symbol, and we are going to mix the exact same symbols to make a potion. If you have added any extra unwanted symbols, you can make the potion and start again. Don't worry, you won't die if you added any unwanted symbol. Okay, the door has unlocked and go to your left into the house and you will find a key. Then come back here to open the next door. I went inside this house, but there is nothing. So carry on across these rooftops. And we are going to get another key with the same mechanics. Press all the buttons together and then open the door. Go inside this house and you will find another storybook.
Dear diary, I am so in love with him. I cannot even describe it. It feels like he loves me too. Our village still tries to heal its wounds from the dark days, but at least me and my love survived and have each other. After the horrible witch hunt, we thought we were safe. We thought we would have peace. But then the plague came to our village. Feels like the plague is some kind of punishment for our sins. Maybe we deserve this. People say they have seen an old woman with a rake at night. Every house she passes, people inside get sick. I hope she does not come to my house. Every morning someone new has fallen ill, and shortly thereafter they die. We do not even dare to give them a proper funeral. It is horrible. The dead are rising from their graves, and they eat the ones left alive. I have locked myself in the house. I got separated from my love. I wish I could be with him. I hope I can meet him in the next life. I'm out of food, and the dead are right outside my door. I miss him so much.
Alright, after this platform we are going to run because some zombies will chase us. So don't stop. That was just a little scare. Yep, we are going to make our way inside that church. And this time we are going to move inside the houses. So ready your crouch button. I made him drop, but there is no need. You can actually crouch down and go. He won't chase you. Be careful, don't go from the forward side of these zombies. Again, cross down, move silently. Just one zombie here. There's nothing else here. I am just checking, but there's nothing else here. So go outside. And yeah, we are going to enter this sad little room. And just after this, you will find a church. We are going to again stack some books, stack some tomes to make our way up. There is nothing else important in this room, but if you want to, you can check it out. There are some interactables, but they don't add anything to a story or required for any achievement. Alright, now we are going to enter a section of running because these zombies will chase you. So you are going to be fast, don't stop anywhere, jump across these walls, these green covered walls, and continue to run. Just go to your right side, don't stop. And you will come across a bridge. Again, continue to run. Okay, now that we across this bridge, if you want to make your manual save here, because just after this tower we are going to fight another boss. So if you are done with your manual save, climb this tower to the top and you will find another statue for another achievement. This is the statue of the next boss. Okay, so the cutscene is over. Make your way across this water. You won't drown this time also. And we are going to use a boat. And while in this boat, while crossing this water, we are going to fight the boss. Now, this boss again has 3 phases. The attacks are somewhat similar to all 3 phases, except the rake one. He will use a big rake and you have to actually squeeze through the gaps in the rake. You will see in a minute. There is one attack where he will open his mouth to send some rats. Again, that is simple. It's better that you see this boss fight. And defeating this boss fight will also unlock another achievement. So yeah, this is the rare attack. Just run through the gap and then aim at its eye. You have to aim 4 times for each phases. So this is a rake attack. You don't want to be at the very center. I recommend that you move to either left or right for this rake attack in all the phases. And this, when you see multiple faces like this, just look out to the face where some threads are coming out of the face. Threads, fur, hair, whatever you wanna call it. And that is the fate you want to attack. Okay, so that's first phase done. In the second phase, almost everything is same, except this time the rake will be upside down and you want to quickly jump through the gap. There's another new attack where his face will spawn right beneath your feet and he will try to eat you. So be careful, be always ready to jump. And that is your second phase done. That is the boss defeated, and the achievement is yours. Now just paddle through this water to reach the mountain, the final area of this game. Of course,
He had
there are
overcome
still
the
many sections ahead.
darkness. He had reached the mountain. He could finally find his sister.
For now, you are safe, so continue on forward. I will tell you when to make another copy of the save. As he reached the summit, Olle felt regret. Regret that he could not stop his sister from being taken. Regret that he could not stop the woman from drowning her child. He had killed the shapeshifter in the forest. Now the mountain stood before him, and he wished he could ask their forgiveness. Okay, now we are in the Mountain King's territory. So move forward with some resolve and interact with the portrait.
He
And
had
on your
reached the
right,
end that
you will
Tuva had
find a hidden
pointed him
door.
towards. Now, entering the halls of the mountain, Olle was ready to find his sister.
And we are back here in this library, where you will find your last storybook and the achievement for it.
Exhausted, bloody, and at his wits' end, King Nils came to a witch's house on the outskirts of his kingdom. He fell to his knees, begging the witch to help cure his son, and she agreed. The witch explained that the flower held tremendous power that could only very carefully be used for good. The witch instructed he only use a single petal. Using the whole bloom would only invite death. Ulrich began to recover, but discontent at the royal line had grown in the kingdom following King Nils' bloody campaign. The next day, King Niels found his son dead, and the last light holding his darkness at bay was snuffed out. Heartbroken, King Niels turned to the bloom which had promised life, and instead saw it as an escape from his suffering. The witch, having come to visit the king and the prince, looked at the nightmarish scene in despair. She raised a mountain on top of King Niels and shackled him using the same bramble.
And just behind the storybook, you will find a statue for another achievement.
And to this day, the trolls still feed him as punishment for his evil deed.
When you are done here, just go to your right and we are going inside the prince's room. As soon as you get inside this prince's room, look behind you and interact and you will find your last statue. That will open up 2 achievements. One for the King Niels statue and one for all the statues. And in this room, we are going to solve a puzzle. So look at this sword, you will find that there is a Roman number 10. We need to dial 3 numbers on the clock with the help of its needle. So how to find the numbers? If you see these 3 portraits, you will find 3 different items that are present in this room. And after examining those 3 items, you will find that there are Roman numbers etched into these 3 items. So one is that cup, one sword, and the third item is some kind of pot on top of the cabinet. So we are going to enter the number of the closest item that is shown on the closest portrait with the clock. So the first item is of course the cup, and the number is on the cup is 6. So go on to the 6 and press the X button. Then you are going to continue clockwise and then press the X button on the next number, number 2. That is of that pot. Now continue clockwise and the last number is number 10. The number of the sword. That is the farthest item shown in the portrait. Now you can try to go directly to these numbers. I mean, you can go anti-clockwise also. But I don't know why I have tried that. With me, it only works when I go clockwise, the longer route. Anyway, solving this puzzle will give you this key to open the door. And now we are very, very close to the ending. So go forward as soon as you drop. I recommend that you make another manual copy of the save file because there is some platforming to be done, and right after that platforming, the last boss fight. Keep moving while hiding from the flashes. And be careful while jumping to these platforms because continue on forward and you will find a door, a huge door, where you have to aim and destroy 4 bramble flowers. That will make the door open and you will find yourself right in front of the Mountain King, the last boss.
The gate that was meant to be closed forever, now opened.
So carry on forward. After this long walk or long run, you have to climb the sword to reach your sister and for the cutscene. That will propel us for the last boss fight.
The Mountain King, who was meant to be hidden forever, was now revealed. He just had to reach the sack before Lillimor ended up as the giant's dinner.
And since this is the last boss fight, so of course this also has 3 phases. But the second and third phase are not divided by any cutscene, so they will just happen naturally. So you can also say that there are only 2 phases. In the first phase, he will just use a fork and a knife. So keep moving, don't be down below the shadows of those fork and knives. And when you have time, you need to destroy the brambles on the shoulder of this king. Take your time, there is no need to rush. This is your last boss fight, you don't want to die here. So after this cutscene, you are directly and officially in the one-on-one battle with the Mountain King himself. that is the first phase done. In the second phase, he will use a mace and a sword. So when he uses a sword, just jump. He can use the sword 2 times. One time in each direction. So jump twice. And when he uses the mace to slam on the table, you want to just keep running and don't be on the shadow. Also, when he slams the mace, don't aim at the flower because there will be some stones dropping down and you don't want to be directly underneath it. There is also an attack when he actually slams down both the sword and the mace together. At that time, you want to hide behind a dropped stone. There you go. We have defeated the final boss.
The Mountain King saw clearly for the first time in centuries.
So just pause the
What he
cutscene,
saw
and after this cutscene, you have to
reminded him
climb
of
the
his
sword
beloved
again.
son.
But again, be careful because you can still die if you make any mistake while climbing the sword.
He would not lose him again. This time, King Nils would overcome the darkness.
So you have to climb the sword and jump onto the Mountain King's beard. That will activate another cutscene. And after that is just some more cutscene and a short epilogue. And of course the remaining achievement will open for completing the game, for defeating the Mountain King, and for completing the game without dying, if you have done so.
And brought it all to an end. The only way to get to Lillimor was now up and in. Tuva had one last gift to give to Ole. The Mountain King dead, his prison started to crumble. Relentless would always look after his friend.
Okay, now we are at the very ending. A small little epilogue
A
section.
nightmare woke her up. Frightened by her memories, she searched for her brother's comfort. But he was nowhere to be found.
We just need to interact with 3 things and then interact with the window, and that will complete the game. And there you go, the achievement for not dying.
However, the darkness outside did not scare her. Because she knew she had her brother.